Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Requiem for a Heavyweight by Rod Serling. Now, Requiem for a Heavyweight is actually based off of a teleplay that Rod Serling wrote in the 50s for a live television series called Playhouse 90, but in 1962 there was a film made based off of Rod Serling's teleplay, and this book was written kind of in conjunction with the movie. Now, most people would probably know Rod Serling from The Twilight Zone. He was the creator and host of The Twilight Zone, and he also wrote many episodes of The Twilight Zone. He also co-wrote the first Planet of the Apes movie. Now, technically what this is it's technically a novelization of the teleplay that Rod Serling wrote for Playhouse 90, and a novelization for the movie, but it's written almost more like a play would be written, only written more in novel form, if that makes any sense at all. Like, it's written the way a novel would be written in prose, but the way Rod Serling describes certain characters' actions, it's very similar to how you would write a play, and it's actually referred to as a read-in version of the dramatic script. Now, I just want to say right off the bat that I have not yet seen the movie version of this, and I saw bits and pieces of the episode of Playhouse 90 that this is based off of, and you could actually watch that whole episode on YouTube. Just type in Requiem for a Heavyweight and the whole thing should come up on YouTube, but I've only seen bits and pieces of that, so far I've really only read this book. But I can honestly say this is a really, really good story, and a really heartbreaking story as well. Now, the plot of Requiem for a Heavyweight is, it's about a professional boxer named Mountain Rivera who was the leading contender for the championship. The problem is, though, he lost his last fight, and he was beaten so badly in this last match that the doctor says he can't fight anymore. So a lot of the book focuses on him trying to find a new way of making a living, a new line of work. The problem is, though, fighting is all this character knows, and the character of Mountain, he's a very likable character, and he's a genuinely good person. The problem is, though, he's not the most intelligent person in the world. You realize that really all he can do is fighting, and in the book, he treats his manager almost like his manager is like his best friend in the world, but you realize that his manager really doesn't think very highly of him and is actually pissed at him for even losing the last fight, and you realize that his manager really has been taking advantage of him and really has been living off of him. And in the book, Mountain develops a relationship with this social worker named Grace, and it becomes kind of a romance, but the book actually does go in a rather unpredictable direction with their relationship. I don't want to give away what it is, and I don't know if it went in the same direction in the episode of Playhouse 90 or the movie, but it goes in a very unpredictable direction with the relationship between Mountain and the social worker. But yeah, I highly recommend Requiem for a Heavyweight. This really is an excellent story. Now, once again, this is technically a novelization of the movie, and I still have not yet seen the movie or the episode of Playhouse 90 that both this and the movie are based off of. I've only read this book, but this is a great story, and if you can find a copy of this book, I highly, highly recommend you read this, or try to see the movie or the episode of Playhouse 90. Either way, just try to see this story, because this is a very, very good story, and it's a very heartbreaking story as well, and there were parts of this book that really were making me kind of tear up a bit, especially the ending of this book. This book actually has a pretty dark ending, and and I was, like, bawling at the end of this book, but, if you can, definitely find a copy of this and definitely give it a read. But yeah, that's my review on the read-in version of Requiem for a Heavyweight by Rod Serling, and bye.